Hey, what is up, my people? Today's video is going to be on top-down analysis. So me personally, I like to use 3 time frames. I have a higher time frame. This is for my directional bias. So I'm deciding here, is price going up? Is price going down? Where are we within this trading range? Are we in the pullback phase? Are we in the expansion phase? I'll get into that. Then I like to use a middle time frame, which is just the M5 time frame. Okay, this is where I'm looking for my actual setup. I refine my range even more. I'm looking for a trade in the direction of the higher time frame, and then the lower time frame entry model. If you know my entry model, I just require the 6 taps. This is where I'm looking for those 6 taps. So one thing I want to say is price is fractal. Okay, I've always said this. If it works on one chart, it will work on all of them. That's why you can link up multiple time frames and trade them the exact same. And this will work on any chart. You're trading gold, you're trading NQ, you're trading USD, GBP. It does not matter. It will work on all of them in terms of top-down bias and multiple time frame analysis. The only thing I do want to say is when you're choosing your time frames, again, you can choose absolutely any time frames, but don't choose silly time frames. For example, if your higher time frame is the daily, that's perfectly fine. Don't use your middle time frame as the 5 minute and your lower time frame as the 1 minute. It's way too big of a gap. You can't tell what's going on in the daily if your middle time frame is the 5 minute. Okay, make sure it's a relative scale. So H1, M5, M1, maybe 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute. You get the gist. Okay, so I'm going to start on this H1 chart for USD CAD. Well, like I said, any chart works. So we have such a large price action. Where do I know to focus on? Am I focusing on these lows, these highs, these lows, etc.? This is where people get overcomplicated. So I'm just going to find the last break of structure. You can see we had this high here, and we indeed broke structure to the upside. So once we candle closed above this high, that's our bullish break of structure. Now, why is this important? Because now I know I have this as my protected low. I know now, based on this hourly time frame, price should not come below here, and price should come above and break this high here because we're in a bullish uptrend. Now, all my trades that I'm going to take now are going to take place between this low and this high. This way, I've simplified my trading range. I don't have to look at any of this. All I have to focus on is this low, expect it to hold, and this high, expect it to break. Super, super simple. I also only want to buy in discount and sell in premium. So by drawing a fib from the top to the bottom of my range now, I know we are in premium. Okay, so on this higher time frame, I don't ideally want to be looking for sells here. So you have 2 choices. You could either trade the pullback, okay, into discount, or you can wait till price hits discount, you get a flip, and then you trade the expansion back up alongside with the trend. So this is counter trend on the higher time frame, but it won't be on the middle time frame like we'll see. And then you can wait for all time frames to align to take it to this high. But let me get into that now. Price always has 2 phases in the trend. In an uptrend, we put in a low, we expand. We then put in a high, and we pull back. We then put in a low, we're expecting higher highs and higher lows, and expand. We put in a high, we pull back. We put in a low, we expand. We put in a high, we pull back. So we can trade both phases of the trend. We can trade the expansion phase and we can trade the pullback phase. The question we need to ask is, how do we know if we're in this expansion phase, or how do we know we're in this pullback phase? Well, let's get into multiple time frame analysis. So this might look complicated, but I promise you it is simple. So on this black line is the higher time frame, this red line is the lower time frame. Okay, we have a high, so we have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. However, on the lower time frame, we're going to get a lot more structure. We're going to get a lot more higher highs, higher lows. Then in this area here, when the lower time frame switches to a downtrend, that tells us that this higher time frame is now in a pullback. And then when this lower time frame switches back into an uptrend, we now know our higher time frame is back in an expansion. So we pull back, we expand up. How do we know the pullback has started? Because the lower time frame has shifted bearish. How do we know that this pullback is over? Because we've tapped into maybe a higher time frame point of interest and we've switched back to bullish. The higher time frame stayed bullish at all times because we always respected our protected lows. So now let's go back to the charts and implement it there. So I now know that, like I said, okay, I now know that we're trading between this high and with this low and we're in an uptrend. But are we in this expansion phase? Are we in this pullback phase? And I need to keep in mind we are in an area of premium, so I don't really want to be buying all the way up here. So I go on the middle time frame, the 5 minute, and I look for context. What is happening? Well, on the 5 minute time frame, I can see we are indeed making lower highs now and lower lows. So this tells me if the 5 minute is in a downtrend, the 1 hour is still in an uptrend. This tells me that the higher time frame, this 1 hour time frame, is indeed in the pullback phase. So I can look for shorts towards this area of discount. How do I know when this pullback is over and price will continue with the trend? Well, simple. This 5 minute time frame will now switch back to bullish, indicating me that this hourly time frame is done with the pullback. Okay, so we do the exact same thing on the middle time frame now, 5 minute time frame. You can see here we indeed broke structure to the downside. So this is our bearish break of structure. We now have this as our protected high, and we have this as our low. So the same way we identified the structure and a range on the hourly, we've done the same thing on the middle time frame, the M5. So we're expecting price to respect this and continue lower, playing the hourly pullback into discount. Now, what areas, what point of interest can we use? Well, I can go on the 1 minute and I can look for a zone. So I'm looking for a 6 tap, and I can see we have this beautiful area here. Okay, this bearish area. Why is this area nice to me? Well, if I go on the middle time frame, I can see this is the supply responsible for breaking the structure, as it's the last up to down move before taking out this low. And if I'm looking for my 6 taps, I can see we have a beautiful 1, change it color, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all I need is for price to sweep this. Okay, that is my trading strategy, and I have entered the trade. So I go back on the higher time frame. So I've used the highest time frame, the 1 hour, to tell me we're in an uptrend between this low and this high. I've used the 5 minute to tell me we are pulling back in this uptrend, so I can look for sells towards an area of discount. Okay, and now I've used the 1 minute to find my 6 taps and find an entry. So all I'm going to do is set my sells as soon as this gets swept. I'll put my stop loss above this supply zone I found, and just target a very, very simple 1 to 2 risk to reward, play price out. Here you can see we get tagged in, a lovely rejection after sweeping this high in our supply area. We pull back and we smash our take profit 1 to 2. And like I said, I can just expect price to do what? I can expect price to run this low here because we're just continuing with the trend. And that's exactly what we do. However, I want to be careful if I'm continuously selling here, because I need to remember that this hourly time frame is still in an uptrend. Okay, and once we tap into a higher time frame point of interest, we are likely to continue with the trend back up. But how will I know this pullback is over and this expansion phase has started? Well, simple, because this 5 minute, right now we are bearish, respecting bearish structure, we'll switch bullish, and then I'll take buys in this 5 minute area using my 1 minute confirmation, targeting this 1 hour high, expecting a higher low, higher high. Okay, it sounds complicated, but I promise it is super, super simple. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Please leave a like. I do highly appreciate it. Any comments at all on any questions you have or what you want me to do a video on, I'm more than happy to do that. You're more than welcome to join the Discord, where I post my daily setups, free education, and I do have a premium side where you can watch me live stream every single day and get more insights into my trading model. Apart from that, appreciate you as always, and I'll catch you on the next one.